What's going on, everybody? It is Scarves and Spikes here with MLS Monday. It's kind of a, I don't want to say new thing. It is maybe an extension of what we were already doing, kind of the, I don't know, fine tuning of Monday, the Monday show as we go along. But we're still going to be talking Atlanta United as usual, but we'll be hitting on some of the other things that are going on around the league. So, guys, what's going on?
Tommy, what were you laughing at, by the way, when you came on?
I saw the intro, and I just watching it, I thought you were really going to tell me election results or that a volcano exploded, like somewhere in Hawaii.
That's
like breaking news. Breaking news, Atlanta United blows the lead.
Blow the lead. We called it. All right. So, yeah, busy one. We're going to dive into, obviously, Atlanta. We'll talk about everything that happened in that game. The roller coaster of emotions that was Atlanta United. And we'll have Chris from the Battered Herons hopping on with us later on, and we'll talk about just a handful of games around the league. And Sydney has done everybody a big favor. You don't have to go Google anything. You can look on the right-hand side and see the standings. Very, very nice.
You guys are in the way, though. I'm trying to point to it, but you guys are in the way.
I know. It's past Sydney's finger, past my head, and past Tommy's coughing mouth.
Tommy is playing. Tommy's on the IR right now. He's playing.
He's jacked up.
I've been on the 4-week IR.
Yeah, dude is struggling hard.
Do you know how hard it is to watch sports when you can't breathe? And Saturday, you screaming at the TV that you just took the lead on a banger, and then you blew the lead on a banger, and then I stay up all night last night to see a no call in the end zone. Just sick of this. Sick of Atlanta sports.
I know. So we went to we were at the Coke factory all day today for my son's birthday.
Is he old enough to get in there?
Yeah.
Oh, Coca-Cola factory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coca-Cola.
I mean, this day and age, what's
I
the
don't
age
know.
limit
Maybe it's
anyway?
Atlanta.
You know how many San Francisco? I mean, sorry, San Francisco.
Kansas City.
This is where I'm at. Kansas City fans I saw at the Coke factory today.
They just want to see Taylor Swift.
Whatever. All right, guys. Scarvesandspikes.com. Go check out the website. Obviously, we have articles going up all the time covering Atlanta United, different things around the league. Go get you a coffee cup. Fall's rolling in. Get you something that can hold some hot drink. Get you a beer mug. Get you a hoodie. And go to patreon.com/scarvesandspikes. Go join up the Patreon. Get you access to our Discord.
Real
the
quick,
other content that we're putting up on there.
I don't know if you want to talk about hoodies today. I don't know if we can talk about hoodies today, though.
Yeah, the 91 degree. It's first fall.
Sorry.
Then summer, and then second fall, and then summer again. Yeah. And then we'll have third fall, and then the next day it'll be winter.
Yeah.
So get you a hoodie now.
65 here.
Huh?
It's 65 here in Ohio. Hoodies are becoming relevant again.
Must be nice. No, it was 91 outside today here in Atlanta, which is crap. Either way, though, go get you a hoodie. Go get you a T-shirt. You can swap them in the middle of the day.
Right.
Because that's what you do in Atlanta.
I don't need a hoodie in 9 days. As long as you guys keep the weather warm.
Hey, we might actually have another hurricane, believe it or not.
Oh, damn. Is my flight going to get canceled?
It might. It's apparently going to be pretty serious.
I thought it was over the weekend.
Right. Well, you know hurricanes. They have a mind of their own.
Well, it's Wednesday. I'm sure we're fine.
We probably are. We'll see.
I dealt through the Delta crisis, so if I got through that.
You did. You made it through all that bull crap. Cool.
Guys,
and then
hold on. I just noticed something. If you cover up the T here, like where my microphone is, it means Atlanta loses.
Which Atlanta?
Sorry. So all of them. All the above, man.
Well,
all the above.
At least we watch a sport where you don't have to lose. Unless you're a Falcons fan, and then you have to lose because that's just what you do.
Yeah. You know what? One thing, real quick, that we got to get out here. I know we got to get to this, but Sydney, you are the ultimate troll. You don't tweet all game, and then you're really gonna call that play on fourth down? Your only tweet of the day. You thought you were gonna get by that without me saying a thing?
That's not true.
Oh, I saw it. I was so
busy.
on.
I couldn't tweet. I was busy.
I couldn't tweet at you because it would have been not very nice. I'm just telling you. That was all you tweeted. Not great pass, Kirk Cousins in the end zone. Great job, Kirk. Good job. Nope. Oh, nice interception off Mahomes. Simmons. Nope. That's what you're running on fourth down. Get out of here.
I was thinking it.
Trolling.
Anyway,
Ridiculous.
Right.
Embarrassing.
Atlanta United.
Atlanta again on Sunday night. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the soccer team.
Yeah.
Segue. So Brad Guzan. I think that's where we'll start. Clap. Give a round of applause for Brad Guzan. Omar, get out of here. I saw this right before I got on. I don't think that would ever happen. Josh Wolf to Atlanta United. I just don't see that being a thing.
What's the backstory to that, by the way?
I don't know. Podcast in Austin said, I'll never knock anybody that, I don't know the stuff behind it. No idea. Just doesn't seem like the right fit. Cause at some point you're starting to get into like the entire Wolf clan working in Atlanta United. And I just don't think that would be possible.
I know.
It's Wolf Pack.
It is
Wolf Pack.
You're right, man. I'm so sorry I missed that, dude. Dad jokes, this is just not my thing.
What is a group of mooses? Are they Mises?
Meese.
Moose. I don't know. That's a good question. All right, Brad Guzan.
Moose is also moose.
Yes.
The more you know.
The more you know. What do you call the plural of the saves that Brad Guzan made on Saturday?
Good question.
Baldtastic.
Team of the match day. Because they had to have Brad Guzan bail them out of that game. And he should have been rewarded. And yet he was shafted again. Edwin Mosquera tried to help this man out.
Yeah.
Shafted again. What y'all think?
Look, I mean, if you asked me after the first 15 to 20 minutes of that game what the score was going to be, I was going to say it was probably going to be 4-5-0, right? It was just going to be a blowout. It was just attack after attack after attack. It looked like New York was on easy mode, and it was just the keeper was just doing everything, right? I mean, Brad was everywhere. And then they started growing into the game a little bit, and then it was like, okay, they've got some opportunity here. But Brad, I mean, he's been really good this year. And I tweeted it out during the game, like, there's no question if there's a team MVP this year. And I think you do. I think every team has their MVP. People are arguing with me that, no, this team doesn't deserve one. If you had to pick, all right, you just play the imaginary game with me. There's nobody else here. Our intern, Jonathan, I think, responded back with saying that it was going to be that he said Saba was one. And I would say he's probably two. But I think there's just a little bit too many opportunities that he had that just he's not been able to finish, right? That probably he should have. So I've taken points away. Where Brad, he's been consistent all year. And I never thought we'd be having this conversation. Well, we don't have it yet, but we're going to have it at some point here in the next couple months is, do you go through with the extension now?
Yeah.
Because you have so many things that you have to go through. I understand that he's hitting 40, but can you get him on a little bit of a decrease here? Like, can you maybe get him to be on a little bit more team-friendly deal, keep him here? I know that's probably not what Josh Cohen wants. I know Cohen's going to want to do that, and that's going to be a whole situation itself because all the talk about Cohen and everything that happened to him with Atlanta United prior, which I don't know the full story on, but still, it just seemed a little weird. So you have that situation. It's going to be a very hard thing to make here, but I just never thought that at the end of this year, we'd seriously be having this conversation, considering what he's done over the past couple years. And those are based off of injuries, right? He's been having trouble with the injuries, coming back, having to get, back in, not having a good team in front of him as well, right? I mean, that's a big part of it that people just forget, is he's had some crappy teams defensively with it. So now you have to figure out, what do you do with him? And I'll tell you, spaces were all over the place with that one.
I bet they were.
Well, let me just kind of say this, though. I mean, you say contract extension. So officially it's an option, right? An option for 2025.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. No, but I mean, the thing with Brad Guzan is he's going to be 41 years old next year. I think that's the thing that everybody's going to look at, right? And you mentioned, can he get a team-friendly deal? I mean, it's going to have to be really, really team-friendly because look at the money he's making, even as a 40-year-old, right? So that's a decision that if Atlanta United want to bring him back, in 2025, what have you, they're going to need to make a decision. Okay, if we pick up this option, we're going to have a discussion about how much he makes, because he hasn't tipped his hand either way. He's saying, no, I'm just taking one match at a time, and it's typical Brad Guzan. He's not going to show his hand or anything like that. But you have to sit down and say, okay, is he worth X amount of money? I mean, he's played to his contract for sure in 2024. That's for sure. But you have to look at, for the good of the future of this team, if you're really looking to turn the page, do you put Guzan in maybe for one more year as a bridge to the future? You have other goalkeepers in the system. You have Jaden Hibbert. Maybe give him a little bit more seasoning with the Tiz. Maybe bring him in here and there for a cup match or two in 2025 and see how things go after that. I mean, you have Cohen as well. But you're going to need to make some decisions. And, Tommy, you mentioned Cohen. What becomes of him? Hibbert, again, he's in the system. And I don't know if he's ready just yet, but he's pretty darn close to being ready. So he might, again, just need one more year with Atlanta United too. Maybe a loan or somewhere to make sure he's getting play time and get him in a place where he can contribute and affect the first team in 2026. So one of many big decisions for Atlanta United coming up to 2025. And Guzan hasn't really made it that easy for them, based on the way he's playing. So credit to him, really. But you would like to see it be a win, of course, on Saturday against Red Bulls. And here we are.
He deserves it. I thought in the seconds leading up to that penalty, I thought it would be wild if he saves this, simply because of 2022, 2023, the I guess the lack of penalty saves that he's been able to or had to have made prior to this year. And I mean, he's just been on fire this year. There's really no other way to put it. He has absolutely had a phenomenal season. We came into the season right after the first couple of matches and said he needed that full off season. He came back way too early from the injury that he had. 2022, he has the bad injury, comes back, gets back to it. In New York, goes and has another injury, and he just never really recovered. I feel, I'm sure he felt fine, but he didn't look fine. He was a step off. We heard from all the fans. All the fans were saying, he just looks slow. 2024 comes along. He has a full off-season rest. This dude looks like he has drank the blood of a unicorn or something. He is just out there tearing it up. It is so unfair to this man to lose. Well, I say lose. It felt like a loss to me to draw that game. You had a chance to make history up in Red Bull Arena. You had a chance to beat them there for the first time ever. And Edwin Mosquera comes on and just lays a banger. And it's like, dude, you did everything you had to do. Like, that he saved the penalty, kept the team alive. His attack somehow did the job and put you up ahead. You can't hold on for 5 minutes. I looked at my wife and I said, they just got to hold on for 5 minutes, and I don't think they're going to do it. And 30 seconds later, man, it's just wild. That's a bigger symptom of the entire team. But Brad Guzan, genuine question. I mean, I see like Omar and Matt, in the chat. Y'all obviously give us your opinion, but like, this is a serious question. And I know a lot of people would look at that and say, you're going to exercise an option on a 40-year-old goalkeeper.
Right.
Is it that crazy though? Is it that
40's
crazy?
The new 20.
Hey, man.
I wish that were the case for me. But kind of take a wider lens for you guys of this match and how it affects the standings. And I tweeted it out last night. We'll talk about Union DC a little bit later, but Union just polarized DC 4-0 on Sunday, yesterday afternoon. And it puts Atlanta United in a bad spot, because even if you beat Philadelphia on Saturday, and even if Montreal loses, you can't do any better than 10th, because granted, you'll beat level on wins, level on points with Philadelphia, but right now the goal differential is like 10 to -4, something like that. So
Yeah.
it's a massive goal differential that Atlanta, obviously have no chance of making up on Sundays. So you'll be in 10th at the best case scenario. You'll be in 10th at the end of Saturday if you win. And again, that just goes to show what a missed opportunity this was for Atlanta United, because if all of the results hold, if you look at the standings, Atlanta is a much better place right now. So, I talked about it. We talked about it before. If Atlanta United fall or can't get points, if, I see Matt's comment. No, but if Atlanta United can't get points against, or can't get a win against Red Bulls, that puts them in a bad spot. And now here we are at Philadelphia, just played DC off the pitch on Saturday or Sunday, and now look at where we are right now. Atlanta United can't get back into the playoff picture even with a win. So they've pretty much done it to themselves. I mean,
Yeah, this is the definition of shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, exactly. And I mentioned, is this going to be one of the matches that Atlanta, if they barely miss the playoffs, is it going to be one of those matches where you're going to say, gosh, I wish they have won that one? And it looks like, at least for now, it's going to be the case.
I say that about a lot of games.
Yeah.
Because it's never like, it's never like a Real Salt Lake, right? Like where you had a dumb goal, but then you played well, and then you just got played off the pitch. Like those are maybe a little easier to forget about and just say, whatever, dude, we just got outclassed.
Talent, yeah.
It's this crap. It's the inability to hold on to leads. And that was the second point, obviously, we were going to talk about. But, like, why can this team not hold on to a lead? Like, what is the mentality? And then there is a discussion about whether Pedro Amador was fouled in that second goal. For sure. But you should never be in that position in the first place. There's a lot that went wrong individually and fundamentally that went wrong in that sequence. To give up the tying goal in a game that you needed to win to really, really make your playoff chances a lot better. It's just silly stuff. Why can this team not hold on to a lead?
I don't know.
We're solving it right now.
It's just frustrating.
Everything they've been doing for the past few years have just been bad practice, right? Starting off slow, finishing the game slow. Allowing a goal right after you score, right? A lot of it's mental, I think. And I think sometimes players could be mentally broken, right? If you've been on a crappy team for a long time and then they go over to a good team. I mean, look what's been happening with some players that have left Atlanta United. They've gotten better, right? And a lot of people call that out a lot. That people leave Atlanta United and they've gotten better after they've left. Specifically, they were talking about Pineda after they leave him. That's why I just keep saying it. I'm going to say it every week because it's going to happen. Rob's not getting this job. There's just no way. It's like a 0.01 for me percent chance that he ends up getting in. Because they need someone. They need someone in there to build your good players back up to where they need to be, right? I think some of these mindset, the same people have been here the entire time. Pineda was here. Rob was here. I'm not blaming Rob for this, but what I'm saying is you need someone new in there to shift that locker room in general. It just has to happen. I mean, just look at Rob's press conference after the Nashville game, right? He was in disgust. He was in shock that team came out so crappy. It was one of the worst performances of the year, and we've had some real bad performances, real bad ones. I can name like 5 off the top of my head, but I'm not going to do that. Santos Laguna. I was going to say Salt Lake as well, but
Salt Lake, we don't really count because just of the talent Salt Lake has, but
I get real embarrassing. That second half was real embarrassing.
No, it was, but I get it.
They just need someone different there. I really do. And again, you're turning over a lot of the roster anyways, so you're gonna get new guys in here as well that I think is gonna help. But you got some guys in here that have had decent careers, right? that have just been down, and I think it's just because the team's been down in general.
So would you, and I'll throw this out there, like I want the chat to kind of say this as well, kind of get in on it. Would you just consider whatever this problem is, this mental, kind of mindset issue, is it just endemic? Isaac said Indy 11 was the worst in my books. Yeah, that'll give Tommy PTSD. But is this just
what was the one you
endemic?
went to? What was the stupid Open Cup game you went to?
Austin?
No, it wasn't Austin.
Yeah,
Did you say
Charleston.
Austin? Charleston. Oh my God, that game was just as bad as Indy.
Yeah, that game was
I said,
terrible.
Charleston, you had to go through
Destroyed by
penalties.
sand gnats the entire time to watch them draw 0-0 and almost lose in a penalty shootout. It was
Look
crap.
what you did, Isaac. Now you're bringing up all the games. Thanks,
Right.
Isaac.
But no, is it endemic to, like, is there just a culture? Like, is that what it comes down to? Is it the culture? Because, we talked last week about how, yes, this team has this weird ability to just stay level-headed, which is great most of the time, if we're being honest. Soccer team, any team, you need to kind of stay, even keel, not have the passion run too high, not have the depression run too low. But
Too late.
at some point, somebody's got to show some life, right? Like, what needs to happen? Is it just that the staff, coaches, blah blah blah? Is that the answer?
How long have we been having this conversation though, Tyler, with this team? Like, I feel
At
like
least 3 years.
I know that's the thing. It's just over and over and over again. I feel like we're saying the same thing about this team every single week. They can't hold leads. They come out slow. They save their energy toward the last part of the match. They're not urgent for all 90 minutes. I mean, maybe it is culture. Maybe it is, just this kind of sense of resignation in the locker room that, one or two players, it's not going to change that, right? I mean, I'm not saying that Miranchuk and Amador are bad additions, but, it's the root. You need to pull this thing out at the root and figure out, okay, how do we flip the culture where we expect to win every single match that we play in? I don't think that's the case with this team. We've mentioned before, this team, they come out with such urgency against good teams. And Derek Williams said in the locker room after Nashville, maybe it's because we realize that they're better than us and we're not as good as we think we are. Why don't you have that mindset for every single match? You have to go into every single match with the mindset of, we need to be switched on 100% from first whistle to final whistle. And players say it. They say, okay, yeah, we need to do that, this, that, or the other. You got to show it. It's just hollow and rehearsed at this point. It's just you got to flip the culture, and whoever the GM is, whoever the head coach is, that's going to be their most important job, other than wins, losses, draws, is flipping the culture of this club from the ground up. I mean, from the training ground, from the exercise rooms, from the video room, all that has to change, guys. And this completely has to be flipped for 2025. I don't have a name for you or names that could come in, but whoever it is, that's going to be their most important job for Atlanta United.
Yeah, and I think to add on to it, I think it goes a step further. It has to be a culture of winning. And not a culture of trying not to lose. It needs to be a culture of, we're the best team out there. Period. End of sentence. Let's go win the matches in our stadium, all of them, because that is our house. Not get bullied around by a punk that plays for Nashville and watch as one of our brand new players gets demolished and we don't do anything about it. That's not a culture of winning. That is a culture of trying not to lose. That's not what you need. And to be fair to Rob Valentino, I can tell you for a fact, like, the guy's trying to change it. He got put in a really rough
situation. Him, though.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not just him, but he inherited a ship that had holes in it and was very much rapidly sinking. And I'm not blaming it on any specific person. I'm not blaming it on Gonzalo Pineda. I'm not blaming it on Carlos Bocanegra. It's just it's all over at this point. The responsibility is kind of shared. And yeah, one player, a handful of players are not going to change this. Go back to what you said, Sydney. You go into the workout room, competition, friendly competition. I'm going to win whatever we're doing. The training ground, I'm going to win. We will win. Like that has to be from the ground up and all the way, because God knows the academy and the twos, maybe not so much the twos lately, but the academy, the kids that come up through the academy, they don't know how to back down. And that's what you want. But you have a lot of veterans that they just don't seem to show the passion the way that we know they have it on a consistent basis. Has to be a culture of winning from the ground up.
Yeah, and just real quick, the academy is different because there's this clear understanding of you got to be on 100% or you could get pipped by some other kids. So, I understand where the mindset comes in at the academy level, why the competition exists down there, but that has to be all the way up and down the organization, not just with the academy. It has to be there with Atlanta United too. That has to be there with Atlanta United senior side. Has to be there among the players that don't see the field, who are regularly on the bench. They have to train like, okay, I need to be ready just in case a guy that's with the first team, that's a penciled in starter, just something happens. I need to be ready to step in if and when he goes down. That has to be the mindset, and I just don't think it is, sadly.
So to kind of piggyback on that, let me ask you a question as well. What do you think of Luke Brennan when he came on?
I mean, it's tough to judge. I mean, I don't know. It was okay. It was okay. Like, I don't want to say it was bad or good either way, but he was okay to me.
It was no worse than anybody else. I mean,
right. Yeah.
But that's what it is, right? You have kids that are hungry, right? And I'm not going to go back to the whole play the kids chant, but those kids have a mentality of winning. They have a culture of winning, and you see it every time they hit the pitch. They may be rough around the edges. They may not be as cultured with their feet and clean on the ball and all that stuff, but they have a mentality that they're going to go and they're going to leave it all out on the field, period. And I just think you're not, and I'm not saying that the veteran players don't have it, but I think you're just not seeing it with some of them at all, but with most of them only on a somewhat regular basis.
Right.
So, all right, cool. Well, perfect timing to move on to, well, any final thoughts about Atlanta real quick?
Not really. I mean, just beat Philly. We'll talk about that later in the week, but
I mean, it's just I feel like it's
same
recycled.
old shit.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to say? I mean, can we just not get more blunt than that? It really is.
Yeah.
There's really a way to describe it.
Yeah.
You're
It's
spot
worse
on.
when they tease you. It's worse when they tease you, right? You got the lead, couple minutes left, you blow it. It's 4th and 1. All you got to do is score a touchdown to beat Taylor Swift and Mahomes, and you don't do it. Like, those are the things that it's like, I'd rather just get blown out, right? Like, expectations, when there's expectations, like when Atlanta United starts getting good again, the expectation, I'm telling you guys, because I felt this yesterday watching the Falcons game. It was like Kirk Cousins is throwing passes, and they're actually getting caught by players. And I'm like, holy shit, this is what football is? And this is what's going to happen when Atlanta United starts getting good again. And then we're in close games. We're like, oh, man, we have a chance to be in a top 4 spot. This is great. I'm telling you, your mind will change back. You don't know how your mind mentally changes when your team goes to crap. But when it gets better, all of a sudden the expectations are back on and the stress is even bigger.
I just want to be able to yell.
I'm back to stressed out Sundays.
I just want to be able to yell and scream when they score a goal again, because now I feel like I have to be reserved in yelling and screaming, because I feel like moments later they're going to blow a freaking lead. And it's like, I can't even be excited. You don't even give me time to be excited. Like, you go score a goal in the 10th minute and then blow the lead in the 90th. Like, give me freaking 80, 90 minutes to just be happy. But no, you give me like 30 seconds, dude. It drives me crazy. Whatever. Screw it. Not even enough time to type out a tweet.
Was that a ghost?
That was my girlfriend's dog, by the way.
Your girlfriend's dog is pissed.
Is dying?
Pissed at the team.
He's upset. Do we want to bring Chris on?
Yeah, Chris.
For better
we rambled on about Atlanta.
Oh, I got a
enough.
good question for him. I got a real good question for him.
Chris,
What's up,
what's
Chris?
going on, buddy?
I mean, I thought I was going to be able to jump in before you guys got started, play some footsies under the blanket, but I mean, I'm coming in hot and ready with you guys.
Hey, man, let's go.
Let's go.
That James Sands feeling, huh?
Yeah. What's
Chris,
up?
What is your
this beautiful
hot,
Monday?
spicy question?
The Herons are back.
Yes.
What did I see this morning logging on to Twitter? There is a Messi. So you're getting 2 new kits this year, which is against the rules. It's against the rules. So first off, already rule breaking. Don't defend it. And one of them is going to be a Messi kit.
I mean, at this point, what rules are there, right? For Miami? I mean,
They're more like
it's
guidelines anyway.
What are rules anyway?
It's literally the wild, wild west here. I mean, we're able to do anything. I mean, we signed Messi for like a Happy Meal and everything is okay, right? I'm all for it. I don't mind an extra kit, but I got to be honest, I'm not a big fan that they're doing this whole commemorative in honor of Messi deal. I'm not a big fan of that. My co-host Danny was mentioning he thinks that it might be like in honor of him because he's Argentine and that they're going to make it light blue. I mean, imagine that, right? That would be awful.
Be weird.
That would be absolutely weird. I mean, you've been rocking pink this whole time. Now you change it to like a Pepto-Bismol pink and then out of nowhere blue. I mean, hopefully that isn't the case, but I mean, I don't know what they're planning on doing for next year.
There's some pushback among Atlanta United fans whether they release a third kit, when it's not the traditional red and black, the 5 stripes. We get some fans complaining about it. I mean, that's the same case, it sounds like, with Inter Miami. You kind of just touching on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is. But like, if you really think about it, like their most recent kit that they just came out with the Dolphin colors, what is that? The throwback or whatever. I forgot what the name of it is. I mean, that's a pretty nice kit right there. I would figure that the Inter Miami would use that kit sort of as, I guess, an alternative. But now, I mean, this is essentially a money grab, especially if they're going to make it light blue like Argentina's colors. I mean, it's 1,000% a money grab, and everybody's going to just come hand over fist with cash in their hand.
But why lose your identity? I mean, like, Messi is temporary, and that's the thing. Like, I take advantage of it all day. Like, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
make that money. But Messi's temporary, and you can't just turn your back on like what you built in the bad years before Messi got here. And
yeah, go ahead, Tommy.
Well, I was going to say, I'm on this guy's podcast all the time, listening to these guys every night. And people, if Chris doesn't talk about Messi every 45 seconds, they're yelling at him. They're screaming at him.
You're not
Why
lying.
don't you talk about Messi? I see it all the time.
I have to mention Messi by contract at least every 90 seconds. I mean, look, here's the thing, right? When it comes to Messi, it's like a gift and a curse because Inter Miami is getting this large fan base coming over for this one person. It's insane. It really is insane. Like, I remember the first couple games he started playing with us. I mean, the outpour of people, it was a disaster. There was a supporter group called the Messiahs. I haven't seen them lately, but they were there for the first like 8-9 games. Now, where they are now, I don't know. Maybe they disbanded. They joined other supporter groups, but it was there, and it's still there. It's not as heavy as it once was, but again, at the end of the day, I think that this organization and Adidas mostly is really just looking at this as let's get our money while we can now, and not honor the team. So you have a lot of the old school fans that were here before Messi, like ourselves, like a lot of the other supporters, a lot of the other fans, where they're not too happy about it either. But let's call it a spade a spade. You guys are gonna buy the jersey too, so like get out of here,
But I feel like that's the case with every club, right? Not just. I mean, Miami is magnified since it's Messi, the greatest player in the world. But I mean, to a lesser extent, it's like every club, right? That's why they put out these kits every 2 years, because Adidas is looking for that paycheck, MLS is looking for that cash, and I think the big thing too is it's just so darn expensive. Like, I don't know how much this Messi kit will cost. I imagine well over $150, but I mean, people are going to buy it, like you said.
$1 million.
And they'll be sold the F out.
No,
100%.
absolutely.
Listen, and there's no lying with that. I mean, at some point, they ran out of the new pink jerseys, so they had to use the inaugural white jerseys and just stamp Messi in the back of it, and those things flew off the shelf. Some of the people that were buying those kits didn't even know where those kits came from. They just said, oh, it has Messi on it? Give me that. They didn't know it was from the inaugural season. So imagine having a kit that was legitimately from the inaugural season with Messi on the back. Like, that's even weirder than anything else.
You might want to hang on to that. That might be really worth some money one day, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, because those are more rare. They ended up taking whatever was in stock and just using it. And it could be. I mean, I don't think you're wrong, Ty.
So I guess to the field side of things, Messi came back and he had his injury. We saw him up in Atlanta in MLS, which was, I was there when he played in Copa America, and of course the place was off the chain for him.
Yeah,
but it's a different vibe in MLS. And it was neat seeing the kind of the mania, because it didn't happen last year. He was too busy eating pizza. People, like, the moment he stepped out there to start warming up, the people started flooding down to the front and just trying to get pictures, everything. There was a moment when Atlanta earned a corner, or whoever was playing, I think it was Atlanta, earned a corner, and the ball got bumped over and right next to where he was warming up at, and he just kind of like toe tapped the ball back over to whoever was taking the corner, and the freaking stadium went nuts. So that's the kind of draw.
Did he get a far? Has he ever gotten a bra thrown at him?
No, he hasn't. Not that I've seen. I mean, listen, like I said, he could throw a fart and everybody's celebrating. There's kids that are running on. Listen, on one of the most recent home games, he scored a goal, or I believe it was a goal that he scored, or he assisted on a goal. And there was a kid that literally caught all of the security guard off. They were basically shocked. They were looking at the field. Kid ran onto the field and legitimately celebrated with the group as they were celebrating this goal. And then Messi's bodyguard almost tackles him, but then Messi takes a selfie with him. That's the great. Yeah, the bodyguard. I mean, listen, the bodyguard took an L on that one, because at the end of the day, kid got to celebrate with the team, take a selfie with Messi. I don't know what happened with him after the fact, but it's a memory for the rest of his life. It's insane, the kind of craziness that surrounds him, to be honest.
So what's going on? I guess he's reintegrating with the team, right? Look, Atlanta fans would be perfectly happy to have the kind of run that Miami have had over the past few months, but they've had a couple of draws, right? Like, it's so bad, but I feel stupid even talking about, like, oh, this is a bad run of form. But he came back. You had the Atlanta game, which came down to some very late drama, and then the most recent game, and it was again very late drama. So, do you think y'all are in any danger of the supporter shield slipping away, or is this just a bump in the road?
That's a great question. I think a lot of the fan base is seeing this as this is just a bump in the road. It's Messi getting familiar back with the team. When Messi was out, the team was playing very cohesively without him, but they obviously strategized in a way to play comfortably without him. And now that you insert him, it's gotten back to like Messi madness, where everybody just kind of gives it to him and hopes that he just creates on his own and makes, chicken out of chicken bleep, right? I mean, that's essentially what's happening with him. And so I think that the team is just starting to get their legs under them as a whole, not just Messi himself, because as you could tell, I mean, Messi played the whole game against NYCFC, right? He came on the pitch, played against Atlanta. played perfectly fine. No dinks, no injuries, no anything. So I think it's just sort of a cohesiveness thing happening, and I think at some point they're gonna get their legs up under them as a whole team eventually. Hopefully this Saturday against Charlotte.
Yeah, just kind of looking at their schedule. They have Charlotte coming up, Columbus. That's a big one. Toronto and New England. Yeah, Toronto after that, then New England. So that's their final 4 matches of the season. And on paper, that should be at the very worst 9 or 10 points, right? Columbus, maybe I don't want to say a toss up, but I mean, I feel like Miami should be able to beat Columbus, but this kind of favorable schedule for them, isn't it?
Wait, why do you assume that? It's in Columbus, right?
It is in Columbus. Yes, Columbus and Toronto are the away games.
Now, I mean, granted, Columbus are kind of moving up the table and are making a push for second, but I mean, you would like to think that just the talent level in Miami could maybe be better than what Columbus has. So, all that to say, I guess I feel like 10 points would be reasonable for this final 4 matches, wouldn't it?
Well, we beat them the last time in an MLS setting, right? After that, they ended up beating us 3-2 over in the round of 16 in Leagues Cup. I mean, I do think that we're not as afraid as a lot of people would typically really think. I think that we'd be able to win against Columbus. They're probably the toughest opponent of the 4. I really always tell people don't sleep on Toronto because for some reason I'm just scared of those Italian guys. So like they can kind of just blow up whatever the hell they want. We need at least 9 points. What is it to tie the maximum amount of points in an MLS season? Right? I think it's 72 or 73 by New England. I'm trying to see here.
I think 71 is the number to beat, I believe.
Max points MLS. It's 70. It's 73.
Oh.
I see it's here. It's 73. So I was telling my co-host, I think it'd be best if we can be able to get that or more against New England for the last game. That would be phenomenal.
I was on the y'all show the other day, and I said they're going to do it. That was before the Atlanta match. Whatever. But I still think it's going to happen. I really do. Yeah. I think you're not going to be able to hold Messi down for long. So
I don't think so. I think eventually the team is going to be able to kind of get their wind up under them, and they'll be able to kind of get this ball rolling.
I think they rest. I think they're going to rest some guys here and there.
Oof.
You got some grandpas on this team, and you got a playoff run here. You got a best of 3, and it would be really embarrassing. I don't think they're going to get knocked out in 3. Now, Philadelphia obviously looks like a team that could be coming your way here, but the question is for you and Columbus, and I mean Cincinnati, and I guess we get into Columbus here. But I mean Columbus and Cincinnati are fighting for the honor of not having to play Messi until the conference finals, right? If everything works out the way that you expect it to probably go, it's the honor of not having to face him in the final, in the conference final. And I think for any team, the longer you get these guys playing, the more games that they have to play, it's just better for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that want the bench players to play a little bit more and let some of the older veterans get some rest. But we lost our opportunity at the CONCACAF. We lost our opportunity with Leagues Cup. Didn't even participate in U.S. Open Cup. So at this point, there's only 2 pieces of hardware left. I mean, fans are pretty upset. We expected a little bit more, considering that we have the greatest player of all time in soccer history or whatnot. No? I mean, I'm driving Tommy up the wall here.
We want more. We want more. The supporter shield's not enough. The MLS Cup isn't enough. I want that Open Cup. Danny doesn't want the Open Cup. We know that.
No, he doesn't. But now imagine if Inter Miami wins the supporter shield and don't win MLS Cup. That's a clown story. That's embarrassing.
I mean, if they don't get to the final, at least, I think it's embarrassing.
You would not be the first team that's happened to, though.
But with Messi,
I know
Messi.
that's gonna be
Messi, God.
I mean, look, I don't like to do that here, but hey, I'm contractually obligated to say his name. Okay, with Messi, you don't win both pieces of hardware. There's going to be problems for sure.
Well, yeah, the problem is for everybody else though is unlike other people that people claim are the greatest of all time, Messi does actually play pretty well in big games. And yeah, I just you guys make it to the final. There's no way y'all are losing that. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
What team would you absolutely not want Miami to see in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm very scared of Philadelphia. I'm very scared of Philadelphia for as there's so many people that have, sort of hot and cold feelings with Philadelphia. Philadelphia, man, consistently, like every year, they're competitors with like $5 worth of a salary team wide, right? I mean, kids that are grown in the backyard of somebody's house in Philadelphia, like they're making do with whatever players they have. And Philadelphia, to me, is a scary team. I know everybody's scared of Orlando because Orlando is making this surge upward recently. Orlando doesn't put any fear in my heart. Philadelphia and maybe I would say Cincinnati maybe put fear in my heart, but those are the only two teams, honestly.
I mean, if you look at Philly and maybe just kind of switching gears, I mean, they blew out DC 4-0 yesterday afternoon. Then we talked earlier how that's not that's a terrible result for Atlanta United if you're a Atlanta United fan. But you look at Baribo. Yeah, Ty Baribo has been an absolute heater. Gazdag, of course. They have so many key pieces. You mentioned the kids that they have as well. They're always, from an academy standpoint, have been terrific. But you look at Philly, just this tear that they've been just moving up the table. 9 goals in their last 2 matches. They have, though, after Atlanta, Orlando, Columbus, and Cincy, that's a gauntlet for them. Do you think that this team can carry on this strong form past Atlanta going into the final 3 matches of the season against 3 teams in the top 4 or close to it?
I mean, I think so. I don't see why not. I mean, especially when you got guys like Daniel Granada in the comments here talking about being afraid of the Red Bulls. I mean, this guy started sipping on the drink a little too early, huh?
Who's that guy?
Strong.
When you got a newborn at home,
he's
stressed out a little bit easier.
He needs to find a second job.
I think, here's the thing. Philly, for me, is I hate them. I hate them so much. I don't want to see them succeed at anything in life at all. And this run of form that they've been on lately and the fact that Atlanta has to play them next irritates me to no end. It's like a cosmic freaking joke that Atlanta has this issue going on where they can't
let it out.
I'm trying to tone it down. Where they can't freaking get it together to win a game against the Red Bulls. They score late and then give up an even later goal. And then you're going to go play Philly, who is this cocky bunch of I'm trying to tone it down even more. I'm not going to say the word I was going to say. Cocky bunch of people.
Their fans are assholes. Just say it.
All right, fine,
Any Philadelphia sports fan that you ever run into, you're never going to be like, that's a nice person. That's a nice guy to have a conversation with because their minds are insane.
With some exceptions.
Oh, with some exceptions.
Name one, Sydney.
I want to mention something that's got nothing to do with on the field stuff. I think Philadelphia has the best goal celebration in all of MLS.
Oh, that's so
annoying. That Dupe song, I love it. I would have. I literally
such a scumbag, Chris.
How
do you like that?
I want to live in that celebration. It's like I'll take off my Inter Miami jersey, throw on a real quick Philly jersey because it's got Bimbo Bakeries. Run over to the supporter section.
Get out of here! Kick him out of here!
Vote to kick Chris.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
No, but I
9
mean,
goals though, in
they're
freaking
putting
2
things
games.
together. They're putting things together, aren't they? And
Yeah.
they're gonna be tough out in the playoffs.
This man called you a cornball.
Yeah,
That's
he's
the
a
best you can come up
cornball.
with, Danny.
He's a cornball.
All right, so look, I mean, here's the thing: Philly, DC's another team that just you never know what you're going to get with them. But yeah, I mean, I think that game kind of speaks for itself. It didn't help Atlanta at all.
Yeah.
So whatever, and obviously I know we're biased towards the Atlanta side of things, but I guess jumping to something that is a little more relevant to everybody in the Eastern Conference, Columbus and Orlando as a neutral. It's a fun game to watch, but did anybody actually sit there and watch it, or just catch
I
highlights?
didn't see it. Obviously saw the score line, but just looking at the standings, Columbus is making a serious push for second place. They're level on points with Cincinnati right now, and with a match in hand. So their next match is just very important if they want to get into second place. So impressive result. Orlando had been on a strong win streak or a strong run of form in recent weeks, but of course Columbus getting the win and maybe looking very, very good place for second if they win this weekend.
Chris, what do Miami fans feel about Orlando?
Miami fans aren't scared of Orlando at all. We've had their number for quite some time. Even before Messi, we had pretty good amount of wins against them. It was like a back and forth. I think that there was a point where Orlando was winning sort of the matchups against us, but Orlando, to us, it's a very sort of, they consider us the rival and we don't consider them the rival. We consider teams like Nashville our rival, right?
They do the same thing with us. That's funny how that works.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to find a way to look important, right? I mean, they changed their stadium name to Inter Miami and Co. The purple that they still wear is just awful. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why they just don't plaster everything Disney. I mean, Disney, I would imagine, would be throwing
Just about to say
billions
that.
of dollars over there.
You would imagine.
Yeah.
I hate Nashville.
Oh, there we
But
go.
they're annoying.
hockey
See, they're
team.
annoying.
Yeah, oh yeah. Their hockey team, soccer team, their stupid chants. Yeah, get out of here. Oh, and the black kit that they had that literally was just all black. And what did it say on the back?
Talking about the Johnny Depp one? I mean, Johnny
Yeah.
Depp. God almighty.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny
Johnny
Cash,
Cash.
thank you.
Probably could have gone with Johnny Depp too, but whatever.
You could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Nashville. So that's interesting though that y'all say that Nashville's kind of more of a rival. It feels like Orlando's like the redheaded stepchild of the Southeast in general. Like nobody likes Orlando.
Yeah.
Well, in
Nashville
terms of
is annoying. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, in terms of proximity, right? I mean, Miami is the southernest southern you can southern ever. And so the closest in terms of proximity is obviously going to be Orlando. But it's gotten to a point where we've sort of looked past them. And Nashville, right? We came onto the scene with Nashville at the same time. We've had more I guess competitive games where there's stakes involved against Nashville. I mean, there were a couple games recently against Orlando where you've gotten spicy Messi, right? But other than that, we ended up just destroying them. And even before then, Campana started off a game within the first 2 minutes, scoring a goal right over Galese and lighting up the entire crowd. So it's been that thing where it's like, we don't care about you guys. You guys are just somewhere there. Who cares?
Kind of the outlier, huh?
Yeah, basically.
Right there in the middle of Central Florida.
That's the one team that that was always like the manufactured rivalry. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Because when Atlanta first came into the league, obviously they're the closest, but our GM at the time, president at the time, went out of his way to troll this team.
Yeah.
I mean, out of his way. They first tested the scoreboard in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and it said Atlanta and Orlando, and it was like some outrageous score for Atlanta to 0 for Orlando.
Buying billboards in Orlando.
Yeah, and then he bought a billboard right down the road from Exploria. Like a whole 9 yards, man. It was stupid. But Joseph Martinez just absolutely destroyed that team for so long. We have like 5 years worth of crap we can talk before we even have to consider this a rivalry. So
Yes.
I get it. They're just kind of there doing their own thing.
It's fishing for some sort of relevance. I mean, look, they're a good team. They've had a really good core of players for some time now. I mean, unfortunately, they're playing. Look, I don't want to be here toting the Messi horn, right? But I'm contractually obligated. So, unfortunately, it's to a point where Orlando is not going to be able to compete in the Eastern Conference. At least I don't think so. For some reason, they crumble every time. I mean, they almost lost the U.S. Open Cup against Sacramento Republic or whatever that team is. Like, they had to send New England scouts to watch them with cameras, in the stadium or something like that. It's awful. Gonna lie,
Canada style,
right?
Yeah.
Did you see what happened with the Revs over the weekend? They lost again. You see Carlos Hill and
you seem so happy about it.
no, but he and Arriaga got in a fight on the sideline, and Caleb Porter is saying, he is just trying to hold Arriaga accountable, but that the refs have just cratered over the past few weeks.
What a
no
dumpster
playoff doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs. I think after a really, really, really slow start, they showed some blips here and there, but this past few weeks has just cratered their season. I don't know if you saw that, but what did you make of that? What happened in New England?
It's crazy because you would think that New England would have been able to sort of get their ducks in a row, but you could tell that they're in last place. I mean, there's turmoil all over the place. New England doesn't have a foot to stand on. I feel so bad because it's just I expected a little bit better from them, especially considering that everybody was anticipating Carlos Hill to be able to have like this fantastical season, and it just hasn't panned out that way. I mean, the one game you asked a good question, Ty. What game everybody was paying attention to? To me, I was paying attention to. I don't want to throw it to the West Coast the whole time, but Real Salt Lake and Portland. Yeah. That game right there was a fantastic game.
That was actually one that I wanted to hit on as well. Like, you had that. I mean, I think again, from a neutral standpoint, which I imagine everybody in here is, you had one team go up significantly in the first half, and then it get drawn in the second half, and then the first team you think wins it in the 89th minute, and then the second team draws it in stoppage time, and it's like, dude, that's the kind of roller coaster of emotions I can enjoy because my team's not involved.
Yeah, no, I can imagine the fans had a blast in the stands.
Yeah, that place off the chain. So about Salt Lake though, like, why have they been? I guess all season it's felt like they're playing second fiddle or third fiddle to LA, but you've got a guy that is out there scoring goals left and right, and I just feel like, it's not the glitz and glam of either of the LA teams, but man, like, they're my one to sneak into the Western Conference final and win it, which is my opinion.
Well, you had a suspension though, right? A suspension's gonna affect you in there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that took them off the map there for quite some time. Because the stock was up. And then when you take their best player out, stock's going down.
And it was what,
they're in Utah.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I mean, kudos to Utah though. Like, I
want to go to Utah. It looks beautiful, but like, it's Utah.
Sure. Like, yeah,
you'll never leave though. You'll never leave.
The fact that Utah has an MLS team and Detroit doesn't, San Diego's just getting one, like that blows my mind. I know it's there because they're one of the old ones, but what a weird league we enjoy. But no, so yeah, Salt Lake. I guess so. Western Conference in general. Is there, the way that it stands now, Chris? In your opinion, is there a team that you just consider the absolute favorite? Because it's turned into a dogfight.
Real Salt Lake was my favorite, and then the LA Galaxy decided we're gonna turn it the F on big time, and then essentially just start going out and destroying everybody. They got Marco Roy. They got, what's his face? This little guy that plays in the middle. What's his face?
Ricky Pooch.
I forgot what his name. Yeah, Ricky Pooch. Yeah, I mean, it's what those two together are just amazing.
Yep.
So that team is easily the team that you can be able to say that's the favorites in the West.
I feel
Even though I kind
hate
of
that they
secretly
can't just
want,
say Ricky. Oh, go ahead.
I want Portland to win because I love Phil Neville. So I kind of want Portland to win.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Portland. Portland, they're at 8th right now, but they gave themselves they got a valuable point against RSL. Capacito scoring in stoppage time, but Evander has had a terrific season. Maybe an MVP candidate outside of Messi, outside of Suarez, outside of maybe Chicho, but he's really powered this team over these past few weeks, really much of the season. I feel like that's a team that could be maybe a dark horse to, make things happen in the playoffs. They're the 8-9 right now, as we speak, against Minnesota, which hasn't been terribly convincing. Let's say you beat Minnesota and you play LA. I don't know if you want to pencil in LA in the next round if that happens. I feel like Portland could kind of give them a lot to think about if that series materializes.
They're a very competitive team and very solid. Evander is a beast. So I look forward to seeing Portland compete very well. I definitely see them doing well.
Do most Miami fans still look at Phil in a positive light?
I think that a lot of the fans do. I feel like I don't want to say that he wasn't given the opportunity because he was, but at the same time, the team was under sanctions. If you were to look at the team that he had at some point, and Jesus Chavez saying Galaxy with 4 players with 10 goals in a season feels like a chef's kiss. It's pretty on point.
Spoiled with riches.
Yeah.
Yes. Phil Neville was given a really good opportunity, but at the same time, they were under sanction. So the kind of players that he had on the field to try to make something out of it, it was very tough. Higuain didn't want to play half the time. It's just, look, Daniel Granada, what are you doing, Danny? Nobody outside of Chris looks at him positively.
Diapers.
A lot of people loved Phil Neville.
Love you, Danny.
He's over here.
And then a lot of people also.
I was gonna say, I just feel like he was
a lot of
bad
people
hand.
like the Open Cup, but whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Danny.
Yeah.
Go
No,
ahead.
but I was gonna say, but talking about Neville, I just feel like he was dealt with bad hand. He didn't really have a talented roster, when he was here. I think he's a decent coach, but just couldn't make things happen with that roster. Now you have Tata in there with Messi, Suarez, Alba, Busquets. Of course, you're gonna win matches, but yeah, he's done a good job with the talent that he's been given Portland, I think. Not MLS Cup level, but decent.
Well, something happened there where he just wasn't able to mesh well with Higuain, and then we automatically get Pozuelo, and then the stars were aligned, and now they're playing amazingly, right? Is it Pozuelo that got us there? Is it Phil Neville strategizing to put Pozuelo sort of in the places where he needs him to be, and then Higuain decided to play because of that personnel? I mean, who knows? It's a mixed bag of a little bit of everything, but I don't think that a lot of people had a sour taste in their mouth with Phil Neville. It's just, look, Phil Neville was a good coach with the team that he had, and would we have wanted more? Yeah, but at the same time, you can't really expect more when you got, Blaise Matuidi coming in for like $1 gajillion, and all he's doing is just greeting people at the train station.
A disaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is crazy to look back at Miami's initial years and think like, man, because even then, like, you're getting big name players. It's not like Miami was dealt a bad hand in the beginning, but those players just didn't pan out at all.
Nope, not at all.
So, I mean, yeah, I think Phil is one of those, like, do the best of what you had, And but it's a similar situation with Atlanta now.
He's not doing poorly with Portland.
Yeah.
He's doing fairly well with them. And he's been able to kind of put the pieces in the place where he can be able to have them comfortably, and players have been sort of performing. So, I mean, he's in a place where he's possibly going to be able to make the playoffs. holding on to that. What is it, the 8th seed or 7th seed, I believe? Yeah, they're over in the 8th seed. So I mean, I do think that he can be able to hold on to that. Minnesota's behind by 2 points. FC Dallas is behind by 7. I think that they'll be able to hold on strong.
So we can't end it without, we got to discuss our mutual friend, Joseph Martinez. He is, I see. Tommy, are you drinking tea? Is it like hot tea time or something?
Tina made me hot cocoa for my pneumonia.
Oh, you got hot cocoa. That's sweet.
Yep.
No, that's cool. I hope you get rid of this pneumonia, dude,
Yeah,
because
me
it's
too.
going on like 4 weeks now.
I know.
Not to put your business out there, but
Yeah, gotta kick it.
Yeah.
I'm on steroids right now for it, and like you don't think that like it would affect you, but man, like the kids come down, be like, "Hey, want to watch something? Get upstairs and don't ever talk to me again." Like that's how I feel.
steroid, I got to the point seriously where I'm like, I'm not taking them when I'm sick. I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't like the way I was.
Yeah.
Screw it. It's got to be a bad day for me to have some steroids again.
And there's no muscles. I have no muscles. That's all I want.
I can't believe you
If
just
I'm
did
going to
that
take
on
these
a
things,
live
I
podcast.
want to have some muscle.
Just
Those are the other steroids.
Oh,
Just take a 5-pound dumbbell and just walk around with it. I mean, I got a dumbbell back there. I could mail it over to you.
You got to beef up a little bit.
yeah. I know.
Try to. Anyway,
Thanks, Frank.
Joseph.
Martinez.
Joseph Martinez. So I guess I'll start again. Kind of everything seems to tie back into these two teams some way or the other. How do fans look back on the time that Joseph spent in Miami? The very short time.
Not great. I mean, he was nice to have, but we were sold a bill of goods that wasn't good. And, other than having a couple penalty kicks, a lot of people they weren't too fond of him. He also, we thought that we were going to have something, especially when he was still with us and playing with Messi. But then again, it's the same thing. He wasn't really performing well. So, I mean, I think that we just ended up getting him in poor condition. I mean, it seemed like he was getting in good condition. But I mean, same thing with Montreal. He went over to Montreal. A lot of people expected big things from him. I mean, he scored a goal in his last game against Chicago, but he's been inconsistent as ever over there too. So I feel kind of bad for Joseph because he's a hell of a player.
This was disappointing. Sorry, go ahead, Tommy.
I was going to say, like, if you paid attention to what they were getting at the time, you knew you were getting a Joseph that was broken, right?
Yes.
It wasn't the prime Joseph. And I think that happens in all sports where you hear a name and you go, oh, crap, we're getting this player. But then you don't really look like the fan base that has him before knows the reason why he's available now, right? Why is the reason why they used the buyout on Joseph Martinez? Well, it was because he had a large contract and he was very inconsistent. He was flipping tables over with food, and then he's on his way out. But like still, there's that hope in every fan that this is the year that the guy just gets it all back, right? He eats the power mushroom and he's back to normal, and he's gonna score 25 goals. That's the hope. And unfortunately, I tried to warn you guys when I hopped on, I think the first time. And of course, he scored against us, right? Like he ended up scoring in that game. But it's like Joseph is just not the guy
that he had.
Yep.
It was ridiculous, dude.
Almost scripted.
Yeah. Garbage.
No, but yeah, it's just disappointing. I mean, he's never going to be the same player. He has a few goals with Montreal this season, 6 goals, 3 assists, Minnesota. But the Joseph Martinez we saw in Atlanta, I don't think we're ever going to see again. It's just
no way. But at least you would hope that there's an uptick at some point. And guys, for those of you that are listening like live or listening later on, give the boys some likes. All right, it's literally free 99 to just click the like button.
We appreciate it.
But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I thought that he was going to be better, but obviously, like you said, Tommy, it got to a point where you started to see the reason that he was available. He's still a great player. Like you could tell that he has that natural gift of just being right place, right time, adjusting his body to be able to make the kicks necessary, and being selfless. That's something that you don't find too often in a 9, right? And unfortunately, like I said, I just feel like, he just hasn't been able to fully recover and find himself once again.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it with Joseph. Like, he went through a phase after the injury.
Yeah.
He came back, and it felt like, because the team had changed at that point and nothing really was clicking with Atlanta. I'm gonna be honest, like from a distance, like we're in the locker room and talked to him a few times, but it almost felt like depression. It almost felt like he was going through like a severe depression. And then, of course, his baby is born. His baby actually had some issues in the beginning. He's good now, but he had a lot going on. And it's one of those things where, he, for 2 years, 3 years really, but 2018 to 2019, he was a guy that could take this team and make something out of nothing. 2019 is the success Atlanta had is largely in part to Joseph Martinez, more so than it was in 2018. I know some people are going to argue that. That's because he lost some of the pieces that helped him be so good in 2018 and said, F it, I don't care. I'm still going to go score goals. And he would have won the Golden Boot again if it weren't for Carlos Vela. Yes, it's another reason I see Omar saying it's all Nashville's fault. That's another reason why we hate Nashville. It was that game with the knee. But in Atlanta, yes, Ariel, you still got to build the statue for this man. This man had 100 goals, over 100 goals. So for this team, and statues get built for much older teams for much less. So at some point, Joseph has to have the statue built. But
let's do it.
Yeah,
they already have a Messi statue. They made it before he wouldn't show up to the stadium until they made him a statue. I heard that. I read that on the internet.
Must be true.
Yeah, it must true.
Be. All right, Chris. So I guess just kind of wrapping it up. What y'all got going on down there in Miami with the podcasts and the network?
Well, we got the Battered Fans Network. We got the Battered Herons podcast that starts in about 49 minutes. And then after that, we got it in Spanish at 10 o'clock. We do that weekly. The English one we do about 4 times a week, including post game. If there is, a game that week, we did 2 post games last week. It was a mess. And then we got the Battered MLS show, which we do every week on Tuesdays, and along with other battered shows like the Battered Jets, Battered Dolphins, Battered. Anything that you can find battered.
Those 2 teams are definitely battered this year.
Sports related, then you'll be able to find it. We're working on something for another idea as well. So just be on the lookout for that. You know what? That would be
I could swear a lot.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. And then you can go on batterfans.com and get shirts like this with this guy on here, right? With Messi, the GOAT.
Oh, there we go. You're about to break the contract.
Yeah, I was about to break my contract, but I had to fill my quota. Messi. So there we go.
I got it. Yeah, and Jesus saying Joseph was under Zlatan in 2019. Fact checking me, I appreciate it. I forgot about that guy because he didn't come to the bins either. Jerk.
I know.
Zlatan, what a douche.
Battered ATL, Danny's saying.
Hey,
we already do that.
It's basically where we're at right now, guys.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Chris, man, we appreciate you coming on, and for all the normal Atlanta folks, you got 45 minutes to go get a drink or something, and then go listen to these guys dive into it. So, but Chris, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you for having me on with Tommy. One time over there wearing the Seth Rollins mask. What a beautiful thing.
3 times in a week and a half, Chris.
That sounds like a win in my book.
Best friends.
Yes.
Here we are. Screw Danny. Wait, hold on. There we go. That's all I wanted to see when I put that mask on. It was just some type of reaction.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, thank you, sir.
No problem.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate you and Danny, your support.
Yeah,
well, we appreciate you.
And sometimes Danny.
Maybe Solana.
As long as he's not talking about the Open Cup.
Right.
Or ticket prices. Yeah. All right.
All right. Later, fellas.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, sir.
See you soon.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
for real.
He broke our he was the He was the first one. I don't know what that means, but I'm just saying he was the first one. He was our first guest.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
For MLS Mondays.
MLS Monday.
We need a sound effect machine. I mean, you can't give it to me because I'll break it. Like how many times I'm going to hit a stupid button like Miguel Berry or something like that.
We can make this happen.
We can find one. We got to get one. And then we'll have everybody tell us what sound effects that we need.
Yeah.
Choose from about 16.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to close. We're going to talk about what matches we're particularly interested in watching this weekend. I also have Atlanta Philly, but any matches that catch you guys' eye?
This is my idea, and I didn't even look. Hold on.
You also didn't.
While you look,
Tommy.
While you look, I guess Tyler, what's yours?
It's really tough because the Eastern Conference is such a crap show around Atlanta right now. God, this is tough. I still think there's something to be said, and I don't know who they're playing off the top of my head, but Nashville.
Appreciate
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Jesus. Nashville. Who is Nashville playing?
Let me look it up
beforehand.
New England. That game sucks.
Okay, well, but see, that's what I'm saying though, because you're the way that this table is below or around Atlanta, it's still anybody's game. And Atlanta is about to go play a team. And let's just be honest, like the odds of Atlanta winning this game or even drawing are very, very low. Atlanta just has never done well in Philly, and they have 9 goals in 2 games. It's just not the best time to be going to play Philly. I hate them. But you've got teams around Atlanta that have a much easier, at least next 1 or 2 games that could completely shift and change things up around them. So I think Nashville is probably the big one for me.
I'm going to go with Red Bulls, NYCFC, Hudson River Derby. Both teams, in a good spot in the table. Red Bulls on 44 points after a draw against Atlanta. NYCFC, depending on the results on Saturday, could be in 4th place. I mean, so a big Hudson River Derby at Red Bull Arena. The place is going to be jumping. Playoffs is just around the corner. And very, very important derby match going on between the 2 teams. I'm sure Red Bulls would love the opportunity to get a win finally. NYCFC the same way because, again, they could be a top 4 team by the end of the weekend depending on other results. But, yeah, Red Bulls, NYCFC at Red Bull Arena, 7:30 kickoff on Saturday is my pick.
I was about to say, comments, let us know. Marseille, Columbus, and Club America.
I was going to say that.
Campeones Cup Wednesday night.
Well, yeah, I was going to cheat and say Wednesday's got some good games. I mean, you got LAFC in Kansas City for the U.S. Open Cup. That's a 10:30 game. So if you really just want to sink into the couch. I mean, there's also the Vancouver-Toronto Poutine Championship that they have out there. So if you'd like to watch that, that's on. I think there's only one game that, for me, that interests me. It's Cincinnati LAFC. Like, that's the one I want to see. I mean, a lot of people are counting Cincinnati out, right? It's Columbus. That's what Columbus just keeps doing. They just keep winning, right? And then you got Miami and Messi, Suarez. But Cincinnati's got to be real upset about how last season ended. You blew the lead. You lost an extra. They got something to prove. And the other team, 45 minutes or whatever north of you, has absolutely dominated LAFC. So for them, they would love to go out and beat an LAFC and show them.
Yeah. That's a good shout. And I think, and that's part of it too, because those are 2 genuinely good teams that you're either going to get a very low scoring, 0-0, maybe 1-0 type game, or it's going to be one of those that gets broken wide open, probably by LAFC in the beginning. But Cincinnati's not going to let that stand. It's not going to be a blowout. I think if it does become a high scoring thing, it's going to be something stupid like 4-3, like this Columbus game the other day.
Right.
So, Omar with a good shout. St. Louis SKC, good rivalry game.
Yeah, but both teams are maybe out of the playoffs, especially.
Yeah, but they hate each other, and at this point, I'm looking for fights, man. Give me some entertainment.
Sure. Well, this was fun. Really enjoyed it.
This was a good time. Yeah, this is a good way to kick it off.
We'll be back Wednesday, right? Talk about
MLS Mondays.
Monday.
You have to record that, and we'll put it in the intro, or do another
the
cameo
remix thing where there's
with,
like a remix noise.
Get you,
MLS Monday.
Look at that! Look at that! Y'all should be voice actors. We'll
be back Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday, normal show. Still be talking Atlanta, maybe a little more in depth, and diving into kind of what to look forward to against that freaking Philly team that they're going to go play in not Philly, Pennsylvania, and Chester, Pennsylvania. We'll see how it goes. So that'll be 7:00 Wednesday. Again, scarvesandspikes.com. Go there, go to the shop, get you guys some merch. Go join the Patreon, patreon.com/scarvesandspikes. Come in the Discord. It's not just all about soccer. We're talking about everything in there, just hanging out, getting extra content from around the league, obviously from Atlanta as well. And what am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something.
I think that's it.
Next Wednesday, come
week.
Hang out with us. We don't know what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
As long as the hurricane does not stop me.
Yeah.
We'll figure out somewhere to meet up.
That's a weeknight,
I'm
so
sure
you're going to try to get out there.
Yeah, I don't know how people are going to, what the plan was. Last time we came, we went all the way to the supporters lot, and nobody was there for the playoff game. Tyler and I walked all the way there.
Yeah.
Just a dude drinking a beer. I love you, Danny.
Chilling. Danny.
Yeah. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
So
you know, there's a really cool beer. I don't know if anybody's ever been there. And in the chat, if you have been there, there's a beer garden around the corner. I say around the corner from the bins, near the Coke factory. And we walked by it today. I've seen it before, never been. It's called Dare Beer Garden. It's a very original title.
Original.
It used to sit on top. Well, it sits on top of what was a Waffle House until recently, which is like the perfect night in Atlanta. Waffle House and a beer garden. But I've been thinking about hitting that up, but we got to do it before the game because they close at 9:00, which is not very beer gardeny, but whatever. But I need some, if y'all been there, I want to know how it is.
Yeah. Let us know. Social media.
Yeah. Oh,
and
cereal. Good.
And there was
great sausages.
Awesome.
He says.
My favorite part of watching Sunday football is they just showed like the area where Waffle House and the Olympic Park was and all that. And I texted my friend, that always comes down with me, Imad. I was like, "Aren't you proud that you know this area so well?" And he's like, "So much."
Yeah,
he's so used to it. I've been there.
Right, exactly.
Hey, I got a quick question.
He's got to go watch the Monday Night Football game. We got to go.
Yes,
come on, jerk. Go
it's
do
Monday
your
Night
thing.
Football. It's his team. It's his team's playing now.
Bills. I can't talk. Bills and Jaguars. So we got to wrap, baby.
Do you want the spoiler?
Are you
watching it?
I have it on my phone, but
Oh.
yeah, so I'm gonna watch that. See what a winning team looks like.
Oh, you know what? Get him out of here.
Wow.
Do I have the power to boot him? Do I have the power to boot him? What's his button
the
do?
Music. This guy.
All right, and we're back.
I'm back.
You can't come back.
He just swapped sides to get closer to you.
No, I just kicked him out of there. No, we don't get him. We don't get to bring him in here.
Yeah, me in between. He's trying to reach over there and start throwing hands.
Right.
We love you.
Colonel said there's commercial interruptions on YouTube. Is there a way I can pay money and make that stop?
So
I think that's YouTube Premium.
Yeah, YouTube Premium, of course, but that's one of the ways that helps support us. So you can't really control when they show up or how often they show up. That's on YouTube. But
It'd be cool if we could.
It'd be cool if we could, right? But yeah, it helps us pay the bills, So
It does. And Colonel, we
Keep
appreciate
Sydney's
We appreciate
You're always
electricity
on
on.
it. We love you.
Yeah. So that's just
All right,
kind of
guys.
like the sidebar on the ads. But yeah, thanks for watching.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
MLS Monday.
MLS Monday.
See you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Macho Man.